اختلاف کے بغیر جمہوریت چل نہیں سکتی، معاشرے تازہ نہیں ہوتے، نئی تحریکیں آگے نہیں بڑھتی۔ میں ہوں مجاہد سعید خان اور آج میں اختلاف کر رہا ہوں، غائبانہ اختلاف کر رہا ہوں ڈاکٹر علامہ طاہر القادری سے۔ The siege of اسلام آباد is over۔ کوئی ریولوشن نہیں آئی، جو انقلاب آنا تھا فرینکلی معذرت کے ساتھ نہیں آیا، کیونکہ انقلاب ٹیکنیکلی سٹیٹس کو کا بریک ڈاؤن ہے، اور سٹیٹس کو مانی کہ وہ انتظام، وہ سچویشن، وہ سسٹم، وہ نظام جو پہلے سے تھا لانگ مارچ سے پہلے، وہ ابھی تک جاری ہے۔ The cabinet is fully empowered، نیشنل اسمبلی، پروونشل اسمبلیز وغیرہ ڈیزالو نہیں ہوئی۔ جو چیز چینج ہوئی ہے فرینکلی معذرت کے ساتھ پھر سے ڈاکٹر قادری اور ان کے لانگ مارچز شاید اس چیز سے اگری نہ کریں، the only thing which for me personally and editorially has changed is کہ بلو ایریا کی جو شکل ہے وہ کچھ دنوں تک تبدیل رہے گی، بیکاز جو ہجوم تھا اس کا جو جس طریقے سے رہ رہا تھا، جو گیون کہ یہ بڑا ڈیڈیکیٹڈ اور بڑا ڈسپلنڈ اور بڑا امن پسند ہجوم تھا، بٹ obviously size of this scope has living conditions and problems جس کا ابھی تک گند صاف ہو رہا ہے۔ 4 دن ہم نے ڈاکٹر قادری کی سپیچز سنی، نیریٹو وہ کنٹرول کر رہے تھے، نیریٹو ان کے ہاتھ میں تھا، مگر اتفاقاً ایک دن پہلے لانگ مارچ ڈیکلریشن سے ایک دن پہلے مجھے چانس ملا کہ میں ان کی جو وی آئی پی کیبن تو نہیں مگر کمفرٹیبل سا جو ان کا کنٹینر تھا، جو بام پروف بلٹ پروف وغیرہ تھا، جو فرینکلی اتنا کمفرٹیبل آپس کی بات ہے نہیں تھا، مگر پھر بھی باہر جو حالات ہیں ان سے لاکھ درجے بہتر تھا۔ میں اس میں مجھے چانس ملا کچھ منٹ ڈاکٹر قادری کے ساتھ اسپینڈ کرنے کے، کافی سارے سوال کیے فرام اے ریگولر پرسنز پوائنٹ آف ویو۔ فنڈنگ کدھر سے آ رہی ہے، یہ آپ کی انسٹیبلٹی جیسی بھی ہو، اگر وہ جمہوریت پسند انسٹیبلٹی بھی ہو مگر پھر بھی انسٹیبلٹی ہوتی ہے، یہ بھی میں نے پوچھا۔ بٹ مور دین اینی تھنگ جو بار بار قادری صاحب کا ایک کنیکشن ہے، ایک سینرجی ہے ود یونائٹڈ اسٹیٹس آف امریکہ، وہ کیا ہے؟ آئی اسٹارٹڈ ود دیٹ پوائنٹ، اور بیکاز انٹرویو بوتھ آج ٹی وی اور ایک اور نیوز انٹرنیشنل نیوز چینل کے لیے تھا، انٹرویو انگریزی میں ہے، مکس ہے، ملاحظہ کریں۔
Right, sir. Thinking of the big picture, what does America need to know about this? Should the American people be concerned about this? What is the message you think the rest of the world, especially the United States of America, needs to know about this?
United States of America and the rest of the Western world is always interested in stabilizing true democracy everywhere. So unfortunately in Pakistan, this is a hybrid regime for the last 60 years. And it has been marked in the International Index of Democracy in the bottom line. This is an electoral authoritarianism. No principles of democracy are followed over here. There is no transparency here in democratic and political process. There is no accountability here in political parties and nor in the electoral process. The electoral process and political process is totally against the Constitution of Pakistan. There are 3 main articles, Article 62 and 63. These 2 articles deal with eligibility or ineligibility of the candidates. These articles were never enforced in electoral process in Pakistan. And there is 3rd article in Constitution 218, Clause 3, Section 3. It is never enforced. It deals with that the election shall be free, fair, just, honest, and absolutely free from all corrupt practices. And Supreme Court of Pakistan has declared in its judgment dated 8th June 2012 that all elections which have taken place in Pakistan in past, none of these elections have fulfilled the conditions of the constitution to make the election truly free, fair and just. So this is the major thing. We want free elections, free of corrupt practices, according to the constitution of Pakistan's articles and according to the Representation of People's Act 1976, where the correct practices are mentioned. We want to eradicate our political process and electoral process from might, money and manipulation. We want true democracy in place.
Fair enough. But moving on, as far as the interpretation of the Constitution is concerned, I'm sure you have your laws down. But once again, keeping this big picture, perhaps an American or even an Indian for that matter would beg to differ. And they would say that, Dr. Qadri, you have a point, but we have a lot of problems in our country. For example, in India, we just saw the unfortunate incident of this gang rape. It wasn't the first gang rape, and I hope it's not I hope it's the last gang rape, but let's be realistic, it won't be. However, there was a civil rights movement in that country as well. After that gang rape, hundreds of thousands of people collected just like this. There was civil disobedience, there was rioting, there was shelling. Thank God that's not happening so far here. But the bottom line is that nobody vowed to dispel sitting government, however inept that government is when it comes to controlling rape laws. Similarly, an American would make an argument that keeping Enron and every other corporate scandal in mind in the last decade, which has essentially bled middle-class America dry, people have occupied Wall Street, but they haven't overthrown the government. You are overthrowing the government. There's a difference here.
No, that would be totally wrong to say. And I want to convey my message very loud and clear that this movement is not to topple the government of Pakistan. Absolutely wrong if somebody thinks like that. The reason is that this so-called elected government, through a fake democratic process, they have already completed their 5 years term, which was given by the Constitution. Now, after completion of this term, they are going, the term is ending on 16th of March. And Constitution of Pakistan says there are two options. If they dissolve the assemblies on 16th of March, I mean the last day, then only 60 days would be given to the Election Commission and caretaker government to do everything to make the election process clear. And if they dissolve little bit earlier, as I demanded now, because they have already completed the term, there is no question of toppling, then caretaker government and Election Commission of Pakistan gets 90 days according to Constitution to conduct a free, fair, just and honest election. So you have to take certain measures. And you mentioned India, for example. There is a lot of difference between the two. Indian Election Commission has been empowered completely, whereas in Pakistan, Election Commission has no power. Indian Election Commission, according to it has the judicial powers. And exercising the judicial powers, Indian Election Commission since 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, in these 4 years, Indian Election Commission has de-seated and disqualified duly elected members from the assemblies, and their number is more than 2,000, from the Central Congress, from state assemblies and from local body assemblies. So this much is empowerment of the Election Commission of Pakistan. They disqualified 2,000 people. And as far as the Election Commission of Pakistan, in the last 60 or 40 years, not a single member was disqualified on the basis of violation of Constitution from our assembly. So we want empowerment of Election Commission. We want an Election Commission that should be totally non-political, independent and impartial. We want a caretaker government, just impartial, non-political, so that they may ensure free, independent, honest and just and equal for all the elections opportunity.
Welcome back. غائبانہ اختلاف ڈاکٹر طاہر القادری کے ساتھ جاری ہے. The siege of Islamabad is over and evidently the revolution has been televised. یہ سب جو ڈرامہ ہے یا کچھ کہہ لیں اگر ڈاکٹر طاہر القادری کی ریفرنس سے جو ٹوپی ڈرامہ جو ہوا پچھلے چند دنوں میں یہ ایکچولی انقلاب تھا یا خود جو ایک لفظ ہمیں سننے میں آیا بہت بار اسپیشلی ان کی تقریروں میں مکاؤ مکمکا خود شاید انہوں نے حکومت سے کیا. You're the better judge.
Keeping the instability in Pakistan in mind, there's a very famous American ruling. It's a First Amendment ruling about freedom of speech, which you obviously in this country are implementing your right of as well. It's an early 1900s ruling by, I think the Chief Justice was called Oliver Wendell Holmes. And he quoted, to quote him, he said, "Can you shout fire in a crowded theater?" Now, you're the professor of law here, not me. But I think you know better than me what First Amendment rulings it's the Holmes Doctrine. It's an important part of First Amendment law in the United States. This is a very crowded theater, sir. And with respect, you are shouting fire in it. Pakistan mein aag lagi hui hai. Aur idhar Indians, udhar Taliban, niche Baloch insurgency, beech mein jo bhi ho raha hai, aapko zyada pata hai. Karachi is burning, Quetta is burning, ethnic strife, fiscal crisis, energy crisis, and here you are, occupying the capital, have frozen it solid, have locked it down, na dhanda, na kaam, na logon ki idhar ready lag sakti hai, na rozi lag sakti hai, na dihadi lag rahi hai. So overall, while you are within your rights to practice free speech and within your constitutional rights, as you insist, isn't Pakistan a crowded theater right now?
No, whatever you have said, it supports my agenda and my case. All these adventurism and criminalities and target killings and worsening law and order situation which you have mentioned, have they started after I started my long march, or they are continuing for the last 5 to 10 years? It means there was never stability in Pakistan. These political governments are totally failure in establishing the stability. No stability in political side, no stability in cultural side, no stability in economy, no stability in protecting the life, honor and business of the people. People are living here on battas. Everywhere there's target killings of Shia community, the Hazara community, target killing, bombs on the mosques, on the temples, on the churches and on Imam Bargahs. Nobody is safe here. Even if Malala like girl or children go to the school, parents cannot expect whether my child will come back safely or not. If anybody goes out to this office, he is not sure whether he will come back to his house or not. So already there is no stability. Our movement is to bring stability back. Our movement is to bring the protection of life back.
But is all this lockdown in particular, women and children under the open sky, people have left their jobs, their livelihoods right now. I've met people jinhone istifa diya, resign karke aaye hain. Is all this instability fine for stability in the long run? But as we speak now, is this the right way? That's what I'm asking.
The question is, people are already jobless and there are no opportunities of job. That's why we are here. That there are no business in Pakistan. Nobody is ready to invest in Pakistan. There is capital flight. There is brain drain from Pakistan. People are leaving the country. They don't see any future in country. They don't see security of their lives. There is rule of terrorism here, rule of target killers of here, rule of corruption, rule of worsening law and order. Okay. So we want to put everything on right track. And as far as the locking down everything, this is wrong. Just please go. The interior minister and the government said that when this march will come here, they will loot the banks, they will loot the shops. So shops were closed because they are wrong threats. And there is a threat of bombs, the shops are closed. You see, within 2 days, when they saw the protesters are totally peaceful, and I said, even single branch of a tree would not be broken, a leaf would not be broken. Then the shops are open now, they are selling their food, the stalls are open, people are buying, and not a loss of single penny has occurred in the whole area. Okay. And you read the newspaper of Islamabad today, the newspaper has described in Islamabad that since the long march has entered, all crimes, dacoities and the murders and killings, all crimes are finished. For the last 3 days, there was no crime in this area.
Agla sawal jo tha, America was still on my mind because wabastagi shayad ho, shayad na ho, magar ye issue raise hota hai, zarur hota hai कि what's the American angle in all of this. तो ये मैंने फिर से pursue किया, especially because recently ही एक foreign diplomat ने नाम उस मुल्क का लेना शायद इस वक्त मेरे लिए मुमकिन नहीं, मगर एक foreign diplomat ने मुझे कुछ दिन पहले ही एक interesting सा हवाला दिया डॉक्टर कादरी के बारे में. हमारी बहस हो रही थी कि किस किस्म के इंसान हैं, तो डिप्लोमेट साहब ने कहा कि he is a cross between Khomeini and Obama. کہ اوباما صاحب اور خمینی صاحب کے بیچ میں کچھ یہ چیز ہیں. میں نے جب پوچھا کہ کیا مطلب آپ کا, انہوں نے کہا خمینی صاحب کی جو پاپولسٹ ریلیجس ٹائڈل ویو ہے وہ بھی ایسپیکٹ ہے ان کا, مگر اوباما صاحب کا جو لیگل چینج میکنگ پرسپیکٹو ہے وہ بھی ہے. جب میں نے یہ سوال پوچھا تو بہت انٹرسٹنگ جواب دیا انہوں نے, اور آپ دیکھیں کہ انہوں نے اپنے آپ کو کس سے لائکن کیا.
We'll talk about crime in just a second. Just to wrap up the American bit. Firstly, immediately, in the short run, the medium run, the long run, what is your point of view about relationships of this country, and especially your organization with the United States? What should the Pakistani people, how should, in your opinion, should the Pakistani people be looking at the US, and how should the US be looking at this movement, first of all, once again? Secondly, very interestingly and anecdotally, a US diplomat who's stationed in this town described to you, for NBC News, we just did a story recently, described you as a Pakistani cross between Obama and Khomeini. And when I asked him, what does that really mean? He was like, well, he's got Obama, he's the law-making professor, the law-teaching professor as Obama, who's looking for change, but he's also got Khomeini's populist religious tidal wave aspect going. Perhaps. So do you take that as a compliment? Because some people are taking that as a problem as well.
I don't relate myself to Khomeini because my struggle is not like that. The circumstances are totally different. I would say my slogan is like the slogan of Obama in America. He stood for change. If Americans accept the slogan of change and voted for them, why not the same change, democratic reforms, the change in the corrupt system? Why not the same change democratically, peacefully should come in Pakistan? We are fighting for our economic growth. We are fighting for our sustainable social development. We are fighting for human rights here. We are fighting for true democracy here. We are fighting for stability of institutions. We are fighting for inbuilt checks and balances within the society and within political parties. We are fighting here for transparency.
What about the second part of the question, your relationship with the US?
I am absolutely in favor of very good relationships with America. We are not among the mullahs and the extremists who say no link with America. We are sensible people. We want to keep our relations with every part of the world, every single country, including America, but on the basis of our national interests. The question is that America has to support the democracy, and we are fighting for democracy. American interest is to eradicate the terrorism from Pakistan, and I am fighting against terrorism all over the world and to eradicate the land of Pakistan from internal and external threat of terrorism. America is interested in true democracy, and I am fighting for stability of true democracy. America is interested in human rights. We are fighting for human rights. And these so-called political governments or military regimes have totally been failed to providing them true sense of democracy. Democracy is not a name. It is a culture. It is a behavior. It is a philosophy. It is a lifestyle. It is freedom of thinking, freedom of working. It emerges in your family to allow your children to disagree with you. This is an agreement or disagreement. So we want to build up this culture. We want to build up the behavior of tolerance, moderation, and to agree on disagreement. In the whole society, we want to build up on democratic culture. So I think America should appreciate this whole movement. This whole movement is for the Constitution, for the law, and for the equality of the citizen, for removing the indiscrimination based on sex and religion and minorities. And I am fighting against terrorism.
ویلکم بیک ٹو اختلاف اسپیشل. غائبانہ اختلاف ہو رہا ہے ڈاکٹر علامہ طاہر القادری کے ساتھ. جناب, بیسک کوشچن میں نے پوچھا ڈاکٹر قادری سے جب میں ان کے کنٹینر میں ان کے ساتھ تھا. بیسک اس لیے کیونکہ آلموسٹ ایوری بڈی ان پاکستان واز آسکنگ دس کوشچن اینڈ کنٹینیوز ٹو آسک دس کوشچن کہ بھائی جان آپ آئے کدھر سے ہیں اور آپ کس کی فنڈنگ لے کے آئے ہیں. اگر فنڈنگ نہیں لائے تو کس کی گرین لائٹ لے کے آئے ہیں. اگر گرین لائٹ نہیں ملی تو کس سے ہاتھ ملا کے آئے ہیں. MI5 MI6 مطلب کہ برٹش انٹیلیجنس. ایک کچھ عرصہ پہلے پاکستان کی چیٹرنگ کلاسز میں ایک برٹش پلان کے نام سے ایک ششکا ایک رومر چل رہا تھا. یو پارٹ آف دیٹ, یا یہ لینگلی کی کنسپیرسی ہے, مطلب کہ CIA کی, کہ آج کل ویسے بھی for example, ایک انڈر کرنٹ ہے اگر مصر کو دیکھا جائے for example, اور اگر ٹرکی کو دیکھا جائے. So there's a certain sort of complicit understanding کہ یہ جو حکومتیں ہیں ان دونوں ملکوں میں, حالانکہ ٹرکی سیکولر ملک ہے, پھر بھی ایک اسلامی پارٹی ادھر رول کر رہی ہے. تو آپ ویسا ہی تو ماڈل ادھر امپلیمنٹ کرنے نہیں آئے. اور frankly good old APARA, the good old Pakistani military intelligence apparatus led by the very important ISI, آپ ہیں کون؟ تو یہ جب میں نے بیسک سا سوال کیا in a no nonsense way, تو یہ جواب ملا.
You have been targeted, your origins, your connections, your funding, your sources have been cited and traced all the way back to MI5, or is it MI6, to Langley, to APARA, etc., etc. How do you deal with that? I mean, you've been fighting it off, but I need a bottom line answer on that.
I have denied it 100 times. This is just a false accusation. This is just a lie. This is disinformation. I asked them, why did they don't ask the MI5 and MI6? They would reveal everything. Why don't they ask the CIA and Americans? American has already said we are not behind Tahir al-Qadri. British embassy has cleared that we are not behind Tahir al-Qadri. Military establishments has cleared we are not behind the Qadri. You may please go to the thousands and thousands of the marchers. Ask every single person. You will not find a single person who says we received money from Dr. Tahir al-Qadri or his organization to come to the march. Every single person in this march has come in his own. They have booked the buses. They spend their money on publicity because they know that this is the movement for justice. This is the movement for equality. This is the movement of freedom. This is the movement of true democracy. Okay. They are fighting for law. They are spending their money. And the people of Pakistan, they can give every kind of sacrifice if they see their confidence in the leadership.
Moving on, اگلا جو میں نے جو ایشو ریز کیا وہ مذاکرات کا تھا. اگر 4 دن باہر پاکستان کے مین جنا ایونیو پہ اگر آپ بیٹھے ہوئے ہیں اپنے کنٹینر میں, ہمیں تو نہیں پتا کہ اندر کیا ہو رہا ہے, مگر نماز اور قرآن کے علاوہ اور اپنی تقاریر کے علاوہ اگر کچھ ہو رہا ہے تو بات چیت ہو رہی ہوگی غالباً. سننے میں آیا تھا, and once again this is all based on speculation, کہ جو میٹنگز لانگ مارچ سے پہلے لاہور میں ڈاکٹر قادری کی ہوئیں with پرویز الہی صاحب, with چودھری شجاعت حسین صاحب, and very importantly with ملک ریاض صاحب, وہی جو معاہدہ پہلے پیش کیا تھا وہی frankly لانگ مارچ ڈیکلریشن کی صورت میں آیا ہے. once again this is all based on hearsay. مگر جب میں نے ان سے پوچھا کہ 4 دن سے یہ جو ہو رہا ہے بیک اینڈ فورتھ, یہ آپ کس سے بات کر رہے ہیں, who are you in touch with, تو عجیب سا جواب ملا.
Couple of last questions about today. Who are you in touch with in the government? Now, you hinted that you invited, first of all, other political parties. You cited Imran Khan's party in particular. Then your former best friends, the MQM, have shown signs as well. You've also hinted that you're open to negotiations. If they want to talk about implementation mechanisms, you're open to talking to people. Who's in touch with you from both sides of the political spectrum, whether in parliament or out of parliament, whether in opposition or in government? Who are you negotiating with? Who are you politicking with? Who are you allying with? What's the scope of the political spectrum right now with your party right now?
Now, the question doesn't arise now regarding any link with the parties outside the parliament. I have invited everybody who is in favor of change. Now question lies on the President of Pakistan and his cabinet and the government, federal government and the provincial government. They can come, they can sit down and discuss. And if they establish that any of my demands is against the constitution, against the law, against the democratic principles.
No, we know that, but you've made that clear. But are you in touch with someone? Has anybody approached you?
No, up till now, no. But I think in next 2 days, they will have to surrender before hundreds of thousands of people who are peaceful protesting against them. They will surrender.
If there is no communications from the government side, and if the entire opposition bench, led by Nawaz Sharif earlier today, and everybody you can name in opposition was behind him, at 6 o'clock earlier today, Nawaz Sharif and his opposition's merry men and women got together, and fine, if you tell me, for example, that the government is corrupt, I'll say fine. If you tell me that the government is inept, I'll say fine, given. But here's the opposition, which is saying that
Dr. Qadri might have a point, but frankly, we want elections. We want them now. The government should go home, and Dr. Qadri should go home too. That's what the opposition is saying. If the entire opposition is against you and the government, where does that put someone like me, a regular voter?
The Nawaz Sharif and this opposition, they have been accusing this present government for the last 5 years, accusing of corruption. And this Nawaz Sharif's party went to the Supreme Court of Pakistan against the Federation. And Supreme Court asked, you are the biggest party as opposition in the parliament. Why don't you fight your case on the floor of parliament? And Nawaz Sharif party gave the answer to the Supreme Court of Pakistan that parliament is dysfunctional. Nobody is listening to us. So I would give the same answer to Nawaz Sharif now, the answer which they give to the Supreme Court of Pakistan. All these people who got together, they are partners of this corruption. They have been jointly looting. They are outcome of NRO. It doesn't make any difference. They are one and the same with two different faces. All of them, Nawaz Sharif has been in power for more than 2-3 years. In the period of General Ziaul Haq, in the period of, in 90s, 2 times. And the same with People's Party. But none of them has delivered to this country the true democratic norm for elections. None of them has been able to eradicate the corruption from here. And none of these government people, including the opposition, you know, the Punjab government has known to be the protectors of terrorists. Majority of terrorists come and they get heavens and shelters in the province of Punjab. Why they are supporting them?
Welcome back to Ikhtilaf's special transmission. गायबाना इख्तिलाफ डॉक्टर ताहिरुल कादरी के साथ मैंने 1-2 दिन पहले उनके कंटेनर में उनके साथ इंटरव्यू किया. ये लॉन्ग मार्च डिक्लेरेशन से पहले रिकॉर्ड हुआ था. 2-3 चलते चलते इंपॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स. पहले तो 1-2 यू टर्न्स ली गई हैं पिछले चंद दिनों में. अब ये माने डॉक्टर साहब या ना माने, बट ही वाज ऑन द रिकॉर्ड इन न्यूज़पेपर्स ऑफ रिकॉर्ड. पहले तो उन्होंने बात की थी कि मैं तैयार हूं इंटरिम प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनने के लिए अगर मुझे कोई ऑफर करे. ये जब मैंने उनसे पूछा, ही सेड नथिंग डूइंग, मैं तो बोला ही नहीं. ही एग्जैक्टली सेड समथिंग अलोंग दोज लाइन्स. दूसरा एक बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट यू टर्न जो डिक्लेरेशन में भी नजर आता है. अगर आप डिक्लेरेशन का टेक्स्ट पढ़ें हमारे साथ, जो हम आपके साथ पढ़ेंगे, फौज और जुडिशरी का कहीं जिक्र नहीं है. फौज और जुडिशरी एज स्टेक होल्डर्स जिनके साथ कन्फर किया जाए, राब्ता किया जाए, ये तो बेसिस था लॉन्ग मार्च का. मगर शायद मीडिया का ग्लेयर का पुशबैक देख के, का क्रिटिसिज्म देख के, इस पूरे मुआहदे से कि इस मुतालबे से कि फौज को इन्वॉल्व किया जाए, जुडिशरी को इन्वॉल्व किया जाए, there was no mention of this in the last few days, and there was definitely no mention of this in the declaration as well. Declaration भी छप गई है अखबारात में, हमारे साथ भी है, हमारे सामने भी है. Declaration के 2 हिस्से बड़े इंटरेस्टिंग हैं. पहला हिस्सा, जो पहला क्लॉज है, वो तो एक लॉलीपॉप है कि जी असेंबलीज डिसॉल्व होंगी और इलेक्शन से जो मार्च 16 की जो नेचुरल एक्सपिरेशन डेट है असेंबलीज की, उससे पहले ही होंगी. देयर इज नो पर्टिकुलर डेट. जो एग्जैक्टली कह रहे थे कि कल हो या आज हो या अभी हो, वो तो उनका मुतालबा फ्रैंकली फारिग हो गया. लॉलीपॉप नंबर 1 फॉर क्लॉज नंबर 1. क्लॉज नंबर 2 बड़ा मेरे लिए एटलीस्ट एक इंटरेस्टिंग क्लॉज है, और शायद इमरान खान साहब के लिए और ऑपोजिशन के लिए शायद डिस्टर्बिंग क्लॉज हो. क्योंकि क्लॉज कहता है, द ट्रेजरी बेंचेस इन कंप्लीट कंसेंसस विद पाकिस्तान अवामी तहरीक will propose names of 2 honest and impartial persons for appointment as caretaker prime minister. तर्जुमा करूंगा कि जो ट्रेजरी बेंचेस हैं, मतलब कि जो हुकूमत है, वो इन कंसेंसस विद पाकिस्तान अवामी तहरीक, मतलब कि डॉक्टर ताहिरुल कादरी की सियासी पार्टी, मिनहाजुल कुरान इंटरनेशनल नहीं, उनकी जो ये रिलीजियस तहरीक है, ये नहीं, जो दीनी तहरीक है, ये नहीं, बल्कि सियासी पार्टी पाकिस्तान अवामी तहरीक के साथ बैठकर जो आगे चलने वाला सिलसिला है इंटरिम प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स का, वो डिसाइड होगा. 2 क्वेश्चंस. नंबर 1, ऑपोजिशन किधर गया? इमरान खान किधर गया? फौज किधर गई? और आपका जनाब जुडिशरी किधर गया? जो इनिशियली आपके मुतालबात थे, जो आप दावत दे रहे थे इन सब लोगों को, वो सब किधर गए? अकेले ही अकेले दावत में खुद ही ट्रेजरी के साथ बैठ गए. Problem number one, which I have personally. Problem number two, ایک اور مسئلہ, پاکستان عوامی تحریک کدھر سے آ گئی. All of this was supposed to be for the larger democratic purpose. ایک دم PAT کیسے اس سب میں انجیکٹ ہو گئی. اور پھر اگر کلاس 3 دیکھیں, کلاس بہت لمبا ہے مگر بہت سارے وکلا ہیں جن کا نام دیا ہے کہ ECP جو الیکشن کمیشن آف پاکستان ہے اس کا فیوچر منہاج القرآن انٹرنیشنل کے دفاتر میں میٹنگ ہوگی فلاں ڈیٹ کو, اس میں ڈیسائیڈ ہوگا. فرسٹ آف آل, isn't all of this supposed to be done under the democratic process? Isn't all of this supposed to be done under the constitution? کہاں لکھا ہے آئین میں کہ کسی کے دفتر میں جا کے یہ کرو؟ Where is the opposition again? Amendment نہیں چاہیے. یہ کیا ہو رہا ہے? What is all of this about? یہ smoke and mirrors کا گیم ہے, یہ جادو کی چھڑی کوئی چلائے گا یا یہ مکاؤ ہے, کیا ہے؟ ذرا سی confusion ہے. I talked to Dr. Sahab about the interim setup and his other U-turns. Mulaiza kijiye.
The interim setup. Now, you have been on the record saying that you reject the interim setup. As far as your own personal involvement or ambitions are concerned, you said you need an interim setup, but you don't want to be interim prime minister. You've said that, you said that today. But you've been cited not too long ago, 3 weeks ago, you were cited in the news saying, if I'm offered the interim setup, I will gladly accept it.
That was a wrong quotation in the newspaper. I never said it.
Okay, fine. Thanks for the clarification.
One, I say I am not interested to become caretaker prime minister. I don't want to empower myself. I want to empower the people of Pakistan.
Fine. The second part of that question. According to the Sadiq and Amin clause, which you mentioned earlier today, جو آپ نے آج بات کی تفصیل میں اپنی تقریر میں, who on earth are you thinking should be the interim prime minister, sir?
No, I will not say now. When they come on the table, we will discuss. But let me make clear, but by Sadiq and Amin, I don't want the angels on this earth. This is not society of angels. This is a society of human beings. There are thousands and thousands and a few hundreds of people having the national caliber, but they are honest at the same time. Those who are not involved categorically in corruption.
There's a lot of people out there, by the way, who don't have clarity, who are waiting for you to come out and give answers. And that's why I'm trying to do this job as well. That who do you have in mind for the interim prime minister of this country?
I don't have, but when the names will come on the table, we will pick up a person who is totally impartial, honest, and independent, and who ensures that his being caretaker, setup, or prime minister will not provide any favor to any country, any political party, and he will ensure the betterment, the purity, and the fairness and justness of the electoral process and democracy.
Okay, last question. There's a criticism that here's a man, able-bodied man, articulate, bilingual, trilingual, professor of the law, well-educated, well-read, and he's in a comfy little container with heaters and seats and everything else, while there's thousands upon thousands of people under God's great blue sky outside, including women and children. Why don't you go and join the people outside?
I am joining the people for the last 3 days. I have traveled with them for 38 hours on the road, right from Lahore to Islamabad.
But you're stuck in a little container?
No, I was not in the container for 38 hours, just in the car. During my journey, I just went once for 2-3 hours for prayer and for Fajr and heavy rest. I traveled with them for 36 hours.
Fair enough. Thanks for that.
Still staying here on the roads with the people.
Is there a security threat on you? Is there a security threat?
They have been saying, they have been claiming, the Interior Minister particularly. But I said he is the actual person who is a threat for the whole country.
Thank you for your time.